Well, greetings. Hello, beautiful. I'd just love to share today how to reconnect our brains so that we're not affected by Wi-Fi, EMF, Bluetooth in the same way. I do think it's important to have a healthy respect for those devices and keep them away from the body. But if you are one of those people who are getting knocked off, it's like super affecting your brain and you're losing coherence, then this video may be super helpful to you. It was highly transformative for me, the technique I'm going to share, so I hope it's helpful for you. So about 10 years ago, it started for me where I started getting knocked off by Wi-Fi. And I was working it was like 10 hours a day on my computer. And it was Wi-Fi, like via Wi-Fi. My computer was hooked up to the internet. And I ended up having to kind of go and be extreme. I went off the grid, so I had no electronics in my house. I had no electricity even, and I lived in the woods, and that was the way for like a whole year. I healed, and I was like, oh my God, that was intense. And then I got better, and so I could be back in like regular society. And again, in about 3 years ago, I started getting these, like, I got knocked off, where, but this time it was way more extreme. I lost coherence, so I had a really hard time, like, thinking through problems, and I could feel like whenever Wi-Fi devices would come close, they would it would kind of send a warp through my brain, and I would like attempt to, think and process life, and it was so hard. It was like really challenging for the hours that passed after that. And so anyway, so I've been getting better and better since, also thanks to homeopathy. But about 2 months ago, I was like, well, I'm still feeling it. And I'm like, what can I do? Like, I woke up in the morning and I was like, what can I do? And I had some guidance come in through my spiritual guides. And they said, they gave me a technique to do. And since then, I got better and better, like so rapidly. I think within about 2 weeks, I started feeling like I was normal again. And then I started feeling like I wasn't getting affected by Wi-Fi. It was like so amazing. And this is why I want to share it with you, because it's just, I feel it's so important right now, especially for like a lot of people, who there's so much more emissions, Wi-Fi and EMF, and there's a lot of people who are sensitive to these things right now, and increasingly getting sensitive. So in this world where there's more and more, technology being shown or being around us, I feel like this is really, really important. Let me just make sure I've got everything so far, and then, okay. So I'm gonna tell you about the technique, and then I'm gonna take you through it. So basically what my guides told me was to run my tongue, along the ridge of my mouth. Okay, so if you can find right now, if you can just kind of like place, there's like a top ridge of your mouth, where it's like the peak, but it kind of comes down a little bit. So it runs from the back of the mouth to the front, just be in front of the front two teeth. And so to run the tongue along that ridge. I'm gonna guide you through this, but I realized afterwards why this works, and it's like getting used to it and getting familiar with it, and eventually allowing your tongue to do its own thing, like guide itself along that ridge, like multiple times. So when I was learning and practicing Kundalini exercises, the tongue was it's like a connector for electrical currents, a circuit breaker. And so we'd have it at different points in the top of the mouth, right along that ridge, in order to connect the circuits of our bodies to run energy through our systems. And as I've been using this technique, I realized that my brain, I realized the whole problem I was experiencing. And it was because the two lobes of my brain, the two hemispheres of my brain, side hemispheres, weren't connecting. There was something that knocked it off in the beginning, and I'm not sure what it was, but they weren't connecting electrically. And there's an in-between area where there's like energetics, circuit energy that connects both the hemispheres of the brain. And so they weren't connecting properly. Somehow there was an electrical current. I know that there's electrical current in between those two, and that they just, somehow it was weakened, okay? And so whenever Wi-Fi would come around me, it would get even more weakened and just get knocked completely off. And I was so distorted, and I was like, what is going on? And so what running the tongue along the ridge of the mouth does is it reconnects these circuits between the hemispheres of the brain, okay? It's amazing. For me, it's like day and night. It's totally a different story. I can have stuff around me now. I don't. I'm still super respectful because I understand what it can do. And I've seen, oh my gosh, I did all this research when I was into it, when there was a problem, and I could see that there was the emissions from a device would radiate into the brain, into the depths of the brain, when you had it close to the head. And so I was like, of course, that only makes sense, right? It is energy. And so I'm going to show you, I'll guide us along a little time together here to do the ridge of the mouth kind of thing. Sorry. This is early for me. I got up really early. I'm like, I should just make this video. Let's do it. So, okay, so if you'd like to close your eyes, this will just take a minute. If you'd like to close your eyes and just relax your breath, and preferably in the very beginning, you do this, it's always best to do it when you're relaxed and meditative, if possible, but like I said, it just takes a minute. And start at the back of where you can find the back of the ridge, the top of the ridge of the mouth, and put your tongue there, and just slowly guide it towards the front of the mouth. And when you get to the front of the mouth, go back to the back of the mouth and do it again. And this time allow your tongue to guide itself. So it might want to stop in areas. You might want to do other things, okay? It might, I've heard of people connecting both sides of the brain. But start with this. And if you feel guided in other ways, then trust your tongue. So go ahead and do it again. And if it stops in areas, it's meaning that that area needs the connection, the circuit breaker, to come back together. So it's using the tongue to funnel energy up into your brain. And you can do this as long as it feels good. I would recommend 3 or 4 times. And then just opening your eyes and coming back and seeing how that feels. So, yeah, it's a powerful thing. And the Taoists, they're meridian systems. So that's what the Kundalini is based off of. The Taoists have, in the very beginning, when the meridian systems were being recognized in the body, it was recognized by super sensitive people, and probably people who were guided, to open, try new techniques on things. And so it's so important these days to listen to our bodies and do what we are guided towards, to tune into our guidance and do those things. Because if I didn't do this, I would be in such a different place. So anyway, I just wanted to share that with you, and please do feel free to share this with other people that you might know who have Wi-Fi difficulties around Wi-Fi. This is a gift for humanity, and it's my honor to do so because it was gifted to me. And I'd love to hear if you have successful experiences. Write it down, or if you have any questions for me about this, write it down in the comments below. And I'll see you next time.